A program that's off to a nice start for 2026. We talk about them, it seems like, every day here on Group Chat Football Live. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And that's the North Carolina Tar Heels. As we spoke a couple days ago, I should say last week, about the hire of Armand Hawkins, a defensive backs coach. Came over from Washington with Steve Belichick. A lot of talk that he was really the primary recruiter for a lot of the defensive backs that they've brought over there the last couple years, and a guy who has his, he's firmly entrenched in Southern California, and he lands a pair of California corners. I don't know that this is something that's been very commonplace for North Carolina, going to the West Coast and grabbing guys, but with Bill Belichick, they're going East Coast to West Coast, north to south. They're going to go all over for players. And this is a nice start here with Marcellous Ryan and Justin Lewis. Two corners, two different players. Justin Lewis, taller, leaner. Marcellous Ryan seems to always be around the ball, smaller, about 5'10". We'll play both of their huddles here in just a second. But D, your thoughts on, before the players themselves, just like early on here, going and getting guys from pretty big programs over there in Southern California.
So we know Coach Belichick likes his corners, and we mentioned this with some of the portal videos we've done on UNC, and then, of course, the hiring of Coach Armando Hawkins. They call him Mondo. This is a West Coast pipeline that is developing in the defensive backfield of North Carolina. Now, Coach Hawkins previously was Steve Belichick at Washington. Much more natural fit for these California corners because it's Washington. They have a tradition of getting California DBs. But Coach Hawkins has just taken that and transported. Again, we talked about it on prior videos, but just to recap what we're talking about with North Carolina. It's starting with the portal. So in the portal, you have grabbed Thaddeus Dixon from Southern California, Washington transfer, very experienced. Peyton Waters, a younger player, multiple years of eligibility from Washington, also Southern California. He's playing safety. You have Jason Robinson, who's a receiver, but another Southern California kid who's at Washington with Coach Hawkins. Kamori House, a linebacker, Southern California, with Coach Hawkins at Washington. So you've seen the Washington connections from Hawkins play immediate dividends. Sorry, the Washington/California connections from Coach Hawkins pay immediate dividends. And now at the high school ranks for the class of 26, where does he go for corners? Southern California. Coach Hawkins is from Rancho Cucamonga, which is a little bit east of Los Angeles, but right there in that San Bernardino area. Who does he go and get? Justin Lewis from Rancho Cucamonga. 6'2", 165, three-star player, number 44 corner in the country. Offers from Arizona, Colorado, Louisville, Miami, Nebraska, SMU, Syracuse, and then, of course, Washington. That was probably delivered personally by Mr. Hawkins, Coach Mondo. He recruited him very heavily, had him in visits twice in Seattle, did in homes, but ultimately the relationship carried over beyond the school. And if you listen to Justin Lewis and his commitment story, he says, I love Coach Hawkins. Mondo's been with me since day one. Playing for Coach Bill Belichick is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity I had to take full advantage of. And, just watching the film, you see the speed right here. This guy is speed on a dead stop to hawk this guy down. Long, explosive hitter. You see him on special teams, which is going to be a role he could play early on in North Carolina, another thing Bill Belichick loves. So this is an on-brand pickup, just given the connection with Coach Hawkins, the way this defensive backfield has been trending in the portal, and then the fact that this is a guy that can play man coverage, has some length, and will help you on special teams as well.
Yeah, you mentioned explosive hitter. He's 6'2", I've seen him listed at 165, 170. So obviously the putting on the weight will be natural, but when you see him striking and knocking guys back on this tape, you see him on special teams here. Like, I don't worry about the weight. I don't worry about his physicality, because when you watch him, guys are falling the other way when he's making a lot of these tackles.
Yeah, he's got twitch in his body. The length is obvious there. If he ever has to move to safety, I'm not saying he does. He does have the physicality to go there. You don't know how his body's going to react. But, just an impressive player and somebody that is part of what's becoming a pipeline. And you got plenty of corners in North Carolina. You know, that's a talent-rich state. I think of Jair Alexander, who went to Louisville, who's now one of the best corners in the NFL. There are more from the state of North Carolina. But there's no reason why you can't have an expanded map if you're Bill Belichick and have that national profile. Clearly, with the Hawkins connection, California, Southern California is going to be a sweet spot for North Carolina's defensive backs, and continues on with Marcellous Ryan.
Yeah, as I pull up the highlights here, a guy from Sarah High School, which is one of the, perennially produces some of the best talent in the country. And to me, that's, again, as I alluded to in the beginning, as we keep talking about here with the Carolina pipeline here with Coach Hawkins, that's a big deal in itself going in there into Sarah. Again, Carolina, not necessarily a program with a lot of cachet on the West Coast, but Bill Belichick is that cachet.
Yeah, and different kind of corner, right, than what you had here with Lewis. 5'10", 160, very much a ball hawk, smooth, great eyes. You could see him being a very good zone corner because he's great when he's looking at the quarterback. He's very aggressive. When he sees something, he trusts it. He comes up aggressively. That's run and the pass. Tackles above his size, 5'10", 160. That's really the question with him. Can he gain some weight? Still has his whole senior season. Rated very similar to Lewis, 3-star, number 43 cornerback, again, from that Southern California area, Los Angeles. And when they asked about his commit, no secrets. He said it was all on Mondo. That's Coach Armando Hawkins. Chose North Carolina over Washington, Arizona State, Oregon State, and USC. So if you're Washington, you're probably pretty upset because a lot of your board is going across the country to UNC. But if you're UNC, you're saying, all right, this hire that we made is immediately paying dividends, because everybody says they're a great recruiter and they have great relationships. But to see those relationships translate across the country, I think speaks volumes. And it shows you that not only is Coach Hawkins going to help with this class, but he's going to help with future classes because he builds those kind of strong relationships.
And don't like to correct you, D, but it's Armand Hawkins. They call him Coach Mondo, but it's Armand Hawkins, not Armando Hawkins. So I just wanted to keep it right for the Carolina fans out there.
Appreciate that. I'm here with we're in South Florida, so there's a lot of Armandos running around.
Yeah,
it can get confusing.